Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran, and in today's video, we'll be going over all the leveling methods that are available for us come patch 8.3. Now, as of this video's release, patch 8.3 should be available in a day or two, depending if you are on EU or NA. So it's best to prepare all your alts and even main characters if you're trying to pick up some extra item level. This video is designed for you guys to get all the relevant information of everything you can do come patch 8.3 in order to catch up on gear, from the very start of a brand new character all the way to more geared characters. Let's start more with a brand new character. If you're someone who's going to be boosting a character for, let's say, a 120 with Shadowlands as you're coming back to patch 8.3, or maybe you decided to level another alt and you were waiting for patch 8.3 catch-up mechanisms to kick in, what are the current relevant methods for you to pick up some great gear early? The item level on gear is going to be upscaled from every bit of content as well as from the world, so there's a lot of things that you can start with in order to get some of your basics done. The first thing I recommend for everybody to try to do is jump into patch 8.3 main story questline, and this I would do on your mains. You should have the questline available from both the capital cities of Horde and Alliance. There is a possibility for a brand new fresh 120 boosted character or a brand new leveled character to first do Nazjatar and Mechagon storylines, acquire your Heart of Azeroth, acquire your very first essence before you are able to proceed with the story. The story should start in both the capital cities of Alliance and Horde, and it's quite a lengthy story with the ability for your alts to skip majority of it, so you should at least get it done on your main character. The main story is going to lead you to Wrathion, which leads you to the legendary Cloak, which will be one of the pieces of gear that you will maintain and upgrade throughout this new patch. Yes, you did hear it right. I said maintain, as in you will be playing with this cloak the whole time. It will change in appearance, but it will also grow in power. Getting that cloak as early as possible is going to be a pretty massive item level increase just by itself. The next thing you want to dive into are going to be assaults and horrific visions. So from assaults and horrific visions are going to be types of content that will be structured around some of the activities we'll be doing in patch 8.3. Assaults are going to happen in two zones, Oldham and the Vale, where Titan facilities reside, which is why Blizzard chose those spots as the places where N'Zoth will send minions to invade. From these activities, you should be able to get quite a bit of gear and quite a bit of corruption gear if you're looking for your very first corrupted piece. To check if an assault is available, look at the bottom left of your map in order to see if a N'Zoth eyeball is available. Click on the eyeball to take you to some of the locations that are currently under attack. Once you go to these assaults, complete a variety of different objectives. It really comes down to you whether you want to do some easy ones solo or tackle some challenging ones as a group, so you can really do them at your own pace. At the end of the assault, you'll be fighting one of the generals from a opposing enemy faction that's invading the area, and once you're done with that, you'll be rewarded with potential for gear, and it could even be corrupted. Corrupted is basically going to be a way that gear will be upgraded with a bonus but also a negative effect. You could choose whether you want to keep that effect or not, but that's going to be the first way for a lot of you guys to pick up some gear. And if you get a good corruption, that could be quite a DPS boost by itself. The gear from these assaults should be a decent item level by itself, so if you're just trying to pick up some item level, that should be your first place to go to. By killing rares within these assaults and other objectives, you also have a chance to loot tokens for your alts. So if you are someone who wants to gear up a bunch of alts, you can do that from your main. By killing a bunch of rares, you have a chance to pick up tokens that can be for cloth, mail, leather, or plate, and they are account bound, so you can send them across your characters. A great way to gear up characters that have basically no level. Then we have horrific visions. Now, horrific visions serve a couple different purposes. Horrific visions can be accessed from your Heart of Azeroth, and you'll be using currency from assaults in order to access these. Horrific visions are a solo player experience, but can be done with up to 5 people and they will scale. If you have a couple of friends, guildies, or maybe a group of people in pugs that want to do one together, you're more than welcome to join people, or if you want to grind it out solo, it will be a challenge, but it's also viable. Now, the more you do horrific visions, the further you go into these horrific visions, and you can choose how easy or difficult you want them to be, the better the rewards will be. And you can actually gear from horrific visions as a solo experience. For completing a horrific vision and doing the bare minimum, you'll be rewarded with 420 item level. for getting 5 objectives within Horrific Vision is going to be 445 item level, and if you're able to complete all objectives within Horrific Vision while 5 modifiers called Faceless Masks that make the Horrific Vision experience harder, you'll be rewarded with a 470 item level. So essentially it's a way for solo players that don't want to raid, don't want to do dungeons, and don't really want to do group PvP to have a solo experience that's quite challenging that will reward you with much better gear. Also, Rathian is going to, on a weekly basis, if you end up doing some Horrific Visions, upgrade your Cloak, which can also be done through raids, but again, if you're someone who is more of a solo player, then you can definitely get it done just through Horrific Visions. Then outside of that, we got basic pieces of content for you guys to jump into. So I just want to list the basic stuff that you should be aware of if you've been playing BFA and how those pieces of content are going to give you better gear. Of course, I guess you should mention World Quest at least once, but World Quest will always scale with your item level, so if you see a World Quest that might reward you with a decent piece of loot that's great for a starter character, you might want to pick it up, as it could be a decent upgrade. Dungeons from normal to heroic to mythic 0 and mythic plus are going to have much better scaled content. The mythic plus season is going to begin 1 week after patch 8.3. So the new and better rewards are going to kick in a week after patch 8.3 is released. Raiding gear is also going to have quite a bit of an increase in item level, and the last 2 bosses of every raid are going to have higher item level than the rest of the bosses. So make it sure to stick out for the full raid, and taking down 2 last bosses on normal, heroic, and maybe even eventually mythic will give you the most amount of item level as upgrade. Then of course you can gear through PvP, which is going to have a weekly conquest cap with a guaranteed piece of loot. This loot is going to scale over the next few weeks with the Season 4 starting, and the Season 4 for PvP, like Mythic Plus Season, is going to begin a week after patch 8.3 drops. Then we have another Heroic Warfront being added to the list, Heroic Warfront Darkshore. You might want to be on the lookout for this Heroic Warfront whenever it is available. It is going to have a higher item level of gear that drops. I feel like at first Heroic Warfront might give you a decent item level to begin with, but as weeks go on, it'll be great pieces of gear for everybody to catch up for ults. Heroic Warfronts for the most part are not difficult as long as you queue with a decent group. It is possible to fail them, but majority of the times that I've done it, I have never got into a Warfront that was heroic that also was a complete fail. I do hope you get as lucky as I do. You also have world bosses that should be available with the patch 8.3. However, I'm not 100% sure if Blizzard will have them available day 1 of patch 8.3 or at the start of season 2, so anything goes. But world bosses should also be considered, as they do drop 445 item level pieces, which should be quite good for any new players trying to catch up with item level. And that should cover everything that should be available for patch 8.3. I'm saying should because Blizzard sometimes likes to make changes along the way. For example, it does seem that majority of the stuff should be available patch 8.3 in terms of the gear. But for example, Blizzard might change it so world bosses don't show up until Season 4 starts. Or they might make it so the 470 Horrific Visions gear does not drop until Season 4 starts, so nobody can get ahead of the competition. As like the first week is a catch-up week, just for everybody to get the quest stuff done and prepare some characters and get ready for the release of the raid, and then Season 4 is when the big floodgates should be released. It's a good idea to keep all these ideas of how to gear characters, whether new or old, in mind, but don't expect most of these to be available on day 1. Just be aware that they exist, and if they are available, take advantage of them as soon as you can. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Happy gearing, and I'll see all of you guys in another video.